Hey everyone, I'm Wynnsanity and I'm a mobile gaming content creator. On my channel, we do a lot of mobile FPS shooter games like PUBG and Warzone, and I've been doing it for about 8 years now. And on my main channel, we actually just celebrated the 5-year anniversary as well. So we've definitely been doing this for a little bit. The Spyro games way back in the day, you know, Spyro ripped those rage. They even remastered all of the old PlayStation 1 Spyros called the Reignited trilogy. They remastered it for like the latest gen console. So Spyro's in my top 5 for sure. I'd have to say Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls, just in general, another amazing franchise. I got lost in those games for hours as a kid. I'd have to definitely say, Clash Royale. That's kind of where I got my mobile gaming career started, was in Clash. The whole Supercell ecosystem, absolutely, you know, on the Mount Rushmore of mobile gaming, if not all of gaming. Next, I'm gonna have to say Final Fantasy 12. In fact, the whole Final Fantasy series, if you're catching the trend, I just really fall in love with whole franchises, and the Final Fantasy franchise has been spectacular. But Final Fantasy 12 was one of my first real in-depth RPGs as a kid, and I'm gonna have to say, it's a cheesy answer, top favorite game of all time has got to be PUBG Mobile. Obviously, that's what a large game that I've built my career around. We've sunk probably more hours at this point into PUBG Mobile, I think, than any other game. You know, when you game as your job, you know, the hours certainly fly by for sure. So I think I'm gonna have to give the top spot to PUBG Mobile. Trying to fit around my academics, mobile gaming really was a better avenue for me to kind of relax and kill some time. And then at this point, now we have those Clash Royales and more advanced games that we've come to love and know now of the actual mobile gaming industry. They start coming out in like 2016, 2017. I'm a junior, senior in college. That's when I get the idea of like, hey, you know, I'm looking up strategy videos on YouTube and maybe I could do that too. And then the rest is history, right? We create the channel, we get going, and that was, you know, 8 years ago. And now we're here in 2024, and it's insane to see kind of where we've come. I definitely have been inspired a lot by creators like Dr. Disrespect and Ninja and Courage. I think outside of mobile, those 3 creators are my absolute favorites. I watch them all the time. Their grind, their quality, consistency, you know, not just for months, but for years. Like, we're talking about guys that have been dominating for the larger part of a decade now. And, you know, I think there's a lot that can be learned from studying their routines and their content and just how they've been able to adapt and, you know, evolve and not fall off, as we like to say in the gaming world. But those guys for sure are great, you know, influences, especially Dr. Disrespect. I do see a lot of similarities in how I run my streams and kind of the jokes with my chat and like the, you know, the bravado, like I'm the best, even though we clearly are not the best. But, you know, I've definitely innovated a lot of my content based on his. But that fourth guy that I definitely want to mention has been Powerbank Gaming within the mobile gaming ecosystem. He was someone that I got to learn directly from. I edited a lot of his content back in the day. Like, he is a massive part of my story becoming a creator. I learned from him. He mentored me a lot. I got to really see, like, how does it look to run and operate a channel that has 1.5 million subscribers, because that's exactly what he was doing, and I got to learn behind the scenes from him. And he was really a great influence, and especially with PUBG Mobile, you know, hopping on and playing games with him and stuff too. You know, he really taught me a lot on and off the battlegrounds, so to speak. So he's definitely been a big influence for me. Whenever we had cool car collaborations in PUBG Mobile, they would always be coming out with like McLarens or Lamborghinis or Dodge cars, you know, Dodge Challengers and stuff. And I got this idea of, well, what if we did our like crate opening, trying to acquire the skin in game? But what if I did that sitting in a Lamborghini, trying to get a Lamborghini, right? Like, I just wanted to push my content to that next level and do something so crazy that I was pretty confident nobody else in mobile had done to like up until that point, or they were just not going to do it, because it was a pretty crazy, you know, video to pull off. It was a little bit of an interesting time because we had Apex Mobile sunset. Warzone Mobile was delayed. So a lot of us were like, what's going to be next? What's going to be new? And it ended up being a lot of the same games. PUBG Mobile, COD Mobile, Clash Royale, Brawl Stars, you know, the same titles dominated. So in many ways, a lot of us had to kind of adapt and figure out, all right, what are we going to do, right? Are we going to, you know, how are we going to take the same games, but kind of take content to that next level? If I do remember though, we did have some new titles come out like Arena Breakout. So that was a great chance for me to partner with a new game. We created a whole second channel. We like made tips and tricks videos and stuff. And that really was like a creative outlet for me to keep feeling like I'm doing something new, even though for the larger part of the year, we didn't really have a lot of new games actually. Oh, the Mobies last year was phenomenal. It was a great chance just for me to catch up with some old friends, meet some people. Finally, for the first time, I got to meet Mortal, who had been a great influence to me, a really phenomenal creator, you know, that I've admired from afar, overseas at least. But he's been a really great guy to follow, and to meet him in person was fantastic, as well as Thug, and really seeing the whole community come together. Judo Sloth, watching him win Creator of the Year was phenomenal. I think for the first time having the Mobies, not only was it a chance to recognize the people that, you know, were really great that year, but also you had a lot of guys that have been great for many years. So I was really proud to see my friends like Judo Sloth and Panda, guys that have been killing it for years. They finally got, you know, their flowers and their chance to get recognized. And just for mobile in general to get recognized was fantastic, because we've seen so many different award shows for gaming or for streamers, but it always kind of felt like mobile was left off the ballot, or, you know, not really in the limelight. But it's great to have the Mobies, you know, come onto the scene and really shed some light on what is really the largest segment of gaming, if we're honest. You know, mobile is massive, and, you know, the Mobies was long overdue, and I'm really happy that we finally have a show that encapsulates our industry and gives it the attention it deserves. So the future of mobile gaming, that is definitely interesting. It is going through a bit of a transformation right now. We're hearing a lot of, you know, buzzwords thrown around like cross progression and cross play. And I think as mobile matures, it's starting to get on par and at that same level as like console and PC, where you're seeing games like literally PC players can team up and play with mobile players. Like Warframe actually was a pretty insane game that came out a few months ago, a little bit under the radar, but after trying it and realizing I can play on computer and then play on my phone, like that type of experience is becoming more and more prevalent. And we're seeing Warzone Mobile pushing the envelope with cross progression, buying a skin on, you know, PC and then having it on your phone, or grinding the same guns. Like we're seeing mobile start to blur the lines with other platforms, where gaming is now just this coexisting thing wherever you go. So as mobile keeps, you know, pushing boundaries, we're seeing hardware getting stronger. These games are now really starting to take it seriously. I mean, to this point, we've seen every single mobile, you know, or every single massive shooter make some type of mobile port or presence. That's only going to continue. Starting a podcast, we're pretty deep into the ideation phases of some kind of more like long form content. As you see the trends of YouTube shift, it used to be like 20-25 minute long videos were the meta on YouTube. Then we saw Mr. Beast come on the scene. Everything got really crazy, hyper focused, like 8-minute videos, 5-minute videos, 3-minute videos. Well, now this pendulum is swinging back in the other direction, and we're seeing like 15-minute, 20, 30 hour long, you know, videos are now like becoming the norm again on YouTube. So I'm trying to think like, how can I bring maybe a little bit like longer form content to the platform? So there's a lot of things to consider in 2024, just trying to keep up with the trends and, you know, stay relevant with my content, because it is, it's like running on a treadmill all the time. You know, being a creator, there's always new things to cover, new topics, new things to figure out. And if you've been doing it for 4, 5, 8, 9 years, you know, like you gotta try to bring something new to the table. Usually you can't just do the same thing every year and expect the same results. So always figuring out what's next, always trying to iterate. So I'm hopeful that by the end of 2024, we've got a lot of new things on the table, new types of content for people to consume. And I'm excited to really dig into that and see what else I can do, because I feel like I've proven myself once, but how can I do that again, right? Anyway, guys, this has been Behind the Mobile Phone. I'm Wynnsanity, and thank you so much for watching, and tune in to the Mobies this year in 2024.